guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. We made it to Monday morning. I hope you all had a nice little nap. I do have some more information about our trial or hearing from yesterday. So, what it was it was a motion to extend a protection order. Okay, so there was a protection order against him. There was a motion to extend it. And while Judge Fish was looking through the file, he did notice that at some point the protection order did become a permanent protection order. However, there's no paperwork on it becoming a permanent protection order. So it stayed a temporary protection order issued in 2024. So, there it is. Okay, so they want to make it a permanent protection order. Now, I know the protection order is only against him and it's not against her. However, here's just what I think, because there was no more court that day. On August 11th, there was no more. So the tornado warning must have forced them all out, because Judge Fish would have came on the record and said something if it was anything other than like an emergency like that. So I think that he made the protection order permanent. I think because the protection order was made permanent by another judge, for some reason did not make it into the record. He just put it into the record as permanent. I know it was her mostly that day and not him. I do wonder if she was now included in the protection order. I don't think so. I think they kept that open with her so that she can return the child if he ever wanders back again. It's just a bad situation all around. It's just a totally bad situation. Michael, I have thousands of videos. You can just pop one on. V, thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know why I can't like those. I can heart them, but I cannot hit like without banning you. I don't want to do that. Alright, today we got a murder trial from a prison, I think, or a jail. I don't know which one. We're about to find out. Here we go.
All right, the court will call 24 CR 288, the People versus Alejandro Caldera. All parties are present before the court for day 2 of our jury trial. We were set to begin opening statements this morning. I will let the parties know too, I do have some instructions for the jury before we ultimately turn it over to opening statements. And just as a reminder to the parties, as I indicated in my order regarding pretrial readiness, the parties will have 30 minutes for opening statements and then 45 minutes for closing arguments. I do put a timer so that I am fair amongst both sides for how much time is allotted. Ms. Bischoff or Ms. Turner, anything that the court needs to address as of this morning?
No. It's Colorado. I just want to make sure. Judge Fish was Indiana, but this is Colorado.
Mr. Canny.
I guess my one question might be, Judge, we have the 2 inmates here. I've seen various things happen when we have DOC inmates brought in. I know we're going to bring them in ahead of time and then bring Mr. Caldera in. I don't know what they're going to say or whether they're going to testify, and I don't know if they're going to assert the fifth.
That's a record we'll establish ultimately before we bring the jury back in.
My question, yeah.
Sure. I think that's appropriate. All right. And I don't know that one of them ultimately has the right to assert the fifth based on the plea agreement that the court accepted either. So All right. Anything else for the court to address before we bring the jury in when they're ready? Mr. Kenny?
No.
Ms. Bischoff or Ms. Turner, anything else?
Yeah, I guess we just have concerns if we're going to bring Mr. Pino in to ask him about asserting the fifth if we don't believe that he has a Fifth Amendment privilege.
I'm not going to for Mr. Pino. I don't believe it. I am not finding that Mr. Pino has a right to assert the fifth based on the plea agreement that he agreed to and entered into before this court. I don't think he has ultimately any risks of self-incrimination on a crime or a criminal episode, at least, or alleged criminal episode that he's already pled guilty to. So that would be my finding. I think Mr. Manzanares, I don't, at least to my knowledge, I'm not aware that he has pled guilty to any actions involved in this case. And so I do think he could be liable criminally, or at least face that, and we would need to make that record. Right.
None of us are well mentally. That's why we're here.
Anything else, Ms. Turner or Ms. Bischoff?
No, Your Honor.
Can you just let our bailiffs know? We'll bring the jury in as soon as our bailiffs say so. So just as a heads up for everybody. Oh. Mr. Canny, can I have you pull that microphone just closer to you? You're just a little softer spoken. I want to make sure we're capturing what you're saying.
Okay.
Perfect. And same as yesterday, Mr. Canny, if prosecution's at the podium and Mr. Canny, if prosecution's at the podium and you can't see the jury during opening statements, I have no issue with you moving so that you can.
That's fine.
Okay. All right.
After the divorce, she was uncanny. V, thank you for the cheers. Thank you, thank you.
All right. Looks like we have everyone back. Everyone can be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for promptly returning to us. You'd be surprised. There's been times where I had a juror not return the next day, which kind of put a wrench in things. So I appreciate you being here. How we'll start today is ultimately I will give you some instructions to follow for trial, and then we will begin with our opening statements. The prosecution will get the opportunity to present their opening statement first, and then the defense, and then the prosecution will begin their case in chief, meaning they'll get to call their first witness. Okay? I want to remind you that there are rules you must follow. These are the same rules jurors have always had to follow. During the trial, this courtroom is a place partially isolated from the outside world. Your decision must be made inside this place, and you must follow its rules. You must decide this case based solely on the evidence presented in the courtroom and the law as I instruct you. You must avoid any other information about the case from any other source. These rules are designed to make sure there is a fair trial, and we certainly want to make sure we're putting our best effort to not force the parties or anyone else to have to proceed through this trial again in the future. There are two basic rules. You must not communicate with others or among yourselves about the trial as it is going on until you get to deliberations. You must not do any independent investigation or research about the case. I will go over these rules in great detail because they are very important. I will also explain the reasons for these rules. If you learn anyone has violated these rules, you must report that to me or to my staff at once. You must not discuss the case among yourselves in any way during the course of the trial. You may not discuss the case among yourselves until after you have heard all of the evidence and you begin to deliberate on a verdict. In fairness, you must keep an open mind throughout the trial, and you may not form any opinions about the case or reach your decision until I tell you that you may start deliberating on a verdict. Do not permit anyone else to discuss the case with you or near you. If anyone, including one of your fellow jurors, attempts to do so, report that fact immediately. Do not talk with any witnesses, the defendant, or any of the attorneys who are involved in the case. You cannot talk to them and they cannot talk to you even casually. Do not communicate about the case with anyone else in any way, including in person, by telephone, cell phone, smartphone, computer, internet, or any internet service. This means you may not email, text, instant message, blog, or post any information about this case or about your experience as a juror on this case on any website, listserv, chat room, blog, or website such as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. You must not read, review, or accept any communications in any form from anyone regarding this case or cases like this. Therefore, you may not mention that this is a criminal case or the charges that have been filed. You are permitted, however, to explain to family, friends, and employers that you are on a jury and to inform them of how long the trial will last. You cannot say anything else, though, about any aspect of your experience until you are released from your jury service. While each of you may want as much information as possible before deciding the case, you cannot be investigators outside of the courtroom. Attempting to get information outside the courtroom would be unfair to the parties and would be a direct and serious violation of your oath. Do not attempt to gather any information on your own. Do not read or research about this case or this kind of case from any other source, including the internet. I would also caution you on perusing the internet for news sources, as I have been made aware that there is media coverage now of this trial having been started. Many of us routinely use the internet to research topics of interest, but you may not do that in this case. You may not use Google, Yahoo, any other type of search engine to learn about this case or about any person, place, or thing that is involved with this case. This includes the defendant, the attorneys, the witnesses, your fellow jurors, and the court personnel. This applies whether you are here, at home, or anywhere else. Do not read about this case in the newspapers or on the internet, or listen to any radio or television broadcasts about the trial. The law even prohibits you from consulting a dictionary. Do not attempt to visit any places mentioned in this case. Well, I recognize that might not be as feasible in this case. Finally, do not in any other way try to learn about this case or this kind of case outside of the courtroom. And why aren't you allowed to do these things, you might ask? Evidence presented to a jury in a courtroom must meet at least 3 legal standards. The first being that it must be allowable under the rules of evidence. The rules of evidence are designed to eliminate information that is not reasonably reliable. Second, in a courtroom, witnesses are placed under oath to tell the truth and under penalty of perjury. Third, all witnesses' testimony is subject to cross-examination, which means questioning by attorneys from the other side of the case. Cross-examination can help you determine whether testimony is credible or evidence is reliable. By contrast, information you might obtain on your own would not have been subject to the rules of evidence, would not be under oath, and would not have been cross-examined. Therefore, it may not be credible or reliable. Furthermore, if you secretly obtain information on your own, the prosecution and the defense would not know you had done this and would not have a fair opportunity to show that such information may be false, inaccurate, or incomplete. Trials must not be decided based upon secret information. Breaking any of these rules would violate your oath as a juror and would subject you to punishment for contempt of court. If you violate any of these rules, you and your fellow jurors might have to come back to court after this to testify about your conduct. Furthermore, violating your oath could require a new trial before a new jury. Your misconduct would have wasted all the time for you, your fellow jurors, the court, the attorneys, and the parties that have spent on this trial. After trial is over and you have been discharged as jurors, you will be free to discuss any aspect of this case with anyone, and you may do any research that you like. But no such communication with others or research about this case may occur until then. We are depending upon you to uphold the oath that you have taken to follow the rules as jurors, and we are confident that you will do so. During the trial, and as you've already seen, I may need to talk with the lawyers outside of your hearing regarding questions of law. Sometimes you may be asked to leave the courtroom while we discuss these things, but we will try to eliminate these interruptions as much as possible. That's why you will hear us do the white noise machine at times so that we can have some bench conferences without or outside of your hearing. And that's the intention, is to be outside of your hearing. So try not to lean forward and preen for that information. That's our attempt to try and limit as much time we have to be away from on the record in front of you. Okay. I also want to explain to you, I know you have some notebooks in front of you today, and I want to make sure I talk with you about those notebooks and the next steps in the trial. Before we begin the trial, the first step in trial will be those opening statements I mentioned earlier. The attorneys may make opening statements if they choose to do so. Mr. Canny, however, may reserve opening statements until later in the trial, or he may decide not to make an opening statement at all. An opening statement is not evidence. Its purpose is to give you a framework to help you understand the evidence as it is presented. Next, the prosecution will offer evidence. Evidence is what the witnesses say under oath and items allowed as exhibits. After the prosecution's evidence, the defense may present evidence, but is not required to do so. I want to remind you that the defendant is presumed to be innocent. The prosecution must prove the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant does not have to prove his innocence or call any witnesses or introduce any evidence. After all the evidence has been presented, I will tell you the rules of law which you must use in reaching your verdict. These rules of law are called jury instructions. I will read them to you, and you will be allowed to take them with you to the jury room during your deliberations. It is my job to decide what rules of law apply to this case. You must follow all of the rules as I explain them to you. You cannot follow some and ignore others. Even if you disagree or do not understand the reasons for some of the rules, you must follow them. You will then apply these rules to the facts you have determined from the evidence. In this way, you will decide whether the prosecution has proven the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. After you have heard all the evidence and the jury instructions, the prosecution and the defense may make their closing arguments. Because the prosecution has the burden of proof, it will have the opportunity to reply to any closing argument made by the defense. Like opening statements, closing arguments are not evidence. Their purpose is to remind you of the evidence that was presented during the trial and to argue why you should return a verdict of either not guilty or guilty. After the closing arguments, you will then go to the jury room and deliberate on a verdict. Your role as a juror is to decide what the facts are, and your decision must be decided only upon the evidence that was presented during the trial. At times during the trial, the attorneys may make objections. This means that the attorney is asking me to decide a particular legal issue. It is proper for attorneys to object to things when he or she believes it should not be presented as evidence. When an objection is made, I have two choices. I can disagree and overrule the objection, or I can agree and sustain the objection. Do not concern yourselves with the reasons for my decisions about any objections. You must not let yourself be influenced in any way by the objections or by my rulings on the objections. If I overrule an objection to a question, the witness may answer. If I sustain an objection to a question, the witness may not answer. You must not consider the question for any purpose or guess how the witnesses might have answered. If I overrule an objection to an exhibit, it will be allowed into evidence. If I sustain an objection to an exhibit, it will not be allowed into evidence, and you must not consider it for any purpose. At times, I may instruct you to disregard statements you have already heard or things you have already seen. You must treat them as if you never have heard them or seen them. You must not consider them for any purpose. During the trial, I may need to talk with the attorneys outside of your hearing about questions of law, like we just talked about. We'll try and limit these interruptions as much as possible. And as a judge, I do not have any opinions either for or against anyone involved in this case. You must not think that I do based on any rulings that I make or anything I say or do during this trial. I'll tell you my utmost goal always in a trial is just to make sure that the law and that the rules of evidence are followed as much as possible, as best as possible. And that really is my ultimate goal of any trial. You also have received notebooks. You may use these notebooks to take notes during the trial. However, you are not required to do so. If you take notes, you should not allow your note-taking to detract you from your close attention to the testimony and the conduct of each witness, and all other evidence received during the trial. Whether or not you take notes, you should rely on your own memory as much as possible. The notes you take are to refresh your own memory. You should not give additional weight to the comments of any juror based on the quantity or quality of his or her note-taking. The notebooks may only be used in the courtroom or the jury room and may not be taken anywhere else. To identify your notebook, please write your names on it or on them, and no one else will read your notes. We'll keep them in the jury room overnight and between breaks. At the end of the case, your notes will be returned to the court and will be destroyed. Rules governing jury trials do not allow jurors to ask questions directly of a witness. However, if you have a question you would like to ask a witness during the trial, write your question down, but do not sign it. Before the witness is permitted to leave the witness stand, I will ask if anyone has a question for the witness. I'll admit occasionally I do forget to ask, and if that should happen and any of you have a question, please signal to the bailiff or myself before the witness leaves the stand. I may discuss this question with the attorneys, and if I decide the question is proper, it will be asked when appropriate. Keep in mind, however, the rules of evidence and other rules of law may prevent some questions from being asked. I will apply the same legal standards to your questions as I do the questions asked by the attorneys. If a particular question is not asked, do not guess why or what the answer might have been. If I don't ask a proposed question, it is not a reflection on the person proposing it ultimately, and you should not attach any significance to it. The other thing too, I would just ask that you do not destroy any questions that you do submit to the court, and we'll make sure we keep record of those because those are part of the official record as well. With that, we will proceed to our opening statements. Ms. Bischoff or Ms. Turner from the prosecution.
Good morning. It's been 3 years since Adrian Littlebear was murdered at Fremont Correctional Facility here in Fremont County. On August 8th, 2023, Adrian Littlebear was alone in his cell as an inmate there at Fremont Correctional. That was cell 8 in Living Unit 2. He was in his cell by himself when Alejandro Caldera and Andrew Pino entered that cell and closed the door behind them and began to brutally murder Mr. Littlebear. Mr. Littlebear was violently pulled from the top bunk in that cell. You'll see physical evidence of that, the sheets draping off the cell from where he was pulled down to the floor, a pool of blood down at the foot of that cell where Mr. Littlebear effectively died that day, suffering brain injuries that he never recovered from. We know Alejandro Caldera has already told investigators his story of what happened when he entered Adrian Littlebear's cell. He told them that he went in there, saw Mr. Littlebear, thought maybe he wasn't feeling good and offered him some soup, and Mr. Littlebear told him he was fine. But we don't need Alejandro Caldera to tell us he went in the cell that day because we know that there's video surveillance in Fremont Correctional Facility, not inside the cell, but in the outside living areas. And so we can see who went in and out of that cell in the minutes before Adrian Littlebear was found by staff, correctional officers there in the facility. At 5:08 p.m., Alejandro Caldera and his co-defendant, his co-conspirator, his co-killer, Andrew Pino, entered Living Hall 2. They were there in the main area, sitting down at a table. A person, another inmate by the name of Ruben Gutierrez, had let them in. And then at 5:09 p.m., 1 minute later, Mr. Caldera, Mr. Pino, Mr. Gutierrez get up. Mr. Caldera waves Mr. Gutierrez to stay back down, and Mr. Caldera and Mr. Pino at 5:09 p.m. enter Adrian Littlebear's cell, where, as I said, he was there alone on the top bunk. Mr. Caldera enters the cell first, followed by Mr. Pino. Mr. Pino shuts the door behind them at 5:09. By 5:10, they have left the cell. They're walking back downstairs. They go back up one more time at 5:12 p.m. And Mr. Caldera goes back into the cell. Andrew Pino stands at the door, keeping watch. And then they come back out and go back downstairs and never go up there again. In the minutes after that, Mr. Littlebear's cellmate goes up to the cell. He goes in and out of the cell numerous times, taking some other people with him, an inmate by the name of Alexander Ortiz, and an inmate by the name of Ruben Gutierrez, who I had mentioned earlier. They go in and out of that cell. At 5:26 p.m., Mr. Manzanares, Adrian Littlebear's cellmate, calls down for staff and alerts them to what has happened. At 5:29 p.m., staff enter the cell and find Adrian Littlebear 17 minutes after Alejandro Caldera and Andrew Pino had walked out of that cell, leaving Mr. Littlebear behind. According to Mr. Caldera, again, he had been in there offering Mr. Littlebear some soup, and Mr. Littlebear was totally fine 17 minutes before. When staff walk in, they find Mr. Littlebear in a pool of his blood on the floor of the cell. He appears to be seizing. He's unconscious. He has an extremely swollen face, blood around his face and mouth. Has suffered obvious head trauma. He is taken by paramedics to St. Thomas More Hospital. He stays there until August 26th, when they ultimately remove the life-saving measures, but he never recovers in any way from the injuries that he suffered on August 8th, 2023. There is an autopsy done on Mr. Littlebear 3 days after those life-saving measures, that intubation is taken away. He undergoes a autopsy at the El Paso County Coroner's Office, where the doctor determines the manner of his death to be a homicide, resulting from complications from blunt force trauma. Mr. Littlebear has deep brain bleeds within both sides of his head. He has fluid that's built up in his lungs. All complications as a result of the trauma that he received on August 8th, 2023. What Mr. Caldera did not count on is that Mr. Pino. Mr. Pino is a talker. Mr. Pino talked to investigators multiple times, and he tried to pin this murder on Alejandro Caldera. He admitted that this murder took place when they were in the cell. He tried to blame it on Mr. Caldera. He refers to Mr. Caldera as Dopey. That's Mr. Caldera's moniker that he goes by. Mr. Pino told investigators repeatedly that he had watched Mr. Caldera brutally whoop Mr. Littlebear's ass, that Mr. Caldera had pulled Mr. Littlebear from the top bunk, which is consistent with it, again, as those sheets being pulled down, and had stomped him with his shoe, that he had tried to stop him, that basically he had stood by and stood watch while Mr. Caldera committed this violent murder. But Mr. Pino also talked on the phones, the jail phones, and on those phones, he repeatedly admitted both to we stomped him, we killed him, and that he had done it. And so nobody believed that Mr. Pino had just stood by when Alejandro Caldera committed these murders alone. So he was arrested, he was charged. He pled guilty, he took a plea deal, and he's serving 35 years in the Department of Corrections for these murders. Mr. Caldera says that he was offering Mr. Littlebear soup. The other thing that Mr. Caldera didn't count on was the small droplets of blood that would be found on his shoes, on his right shoe. There was blood recovered from the bottom of the shoe, the top and heel of the shoe. Some of those blood droplets were determined to be 5.3 octillion times, that's 27 zeros, more likely to be Adrian Littlebear's than an unknown source. Andrew Pino and Alejandro Caldera suffered no injuries, and that blood was ruled out as being theirs. At the end of this trial, I'm going to ask you to find Mr. Caldera guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Mr. Kenny.
Thank you, Judge. However, you end up seeing the facts of this case. This was not an intentional, after deliberation, first-degree murder. And more importantly, Alejandro Caldera was not the one who did it. Andrew Pino did his best to try to tell the investigators and to try to point the finger at this man, tried to get out of this. But Andrew Pino has family. He has a wife, he has an aunt, he has a mother, he has a brother. And what he told them was much more telling about what happened here. On August 18th, he was talking to his aunt. And throughout this, he talks about the guy he got into a fight with. I got into a fight. He doesn't say we. I got into a fight. And he tells his aunt, they life flighted the dude I fought. Aunt asked him, what did you do? Kill him? He says, yeah. Did you hurt him bad? Yeah. The only time he ever used the term we is he said, we fucked him up pretty bad. That's on August 18th, talking to his aunt. August 19th, Andrew Pino is talking to his mother. I got into a fight at my old facility. I beat this dude so bad they had to flight for life him in. I almost killed him. That's on August 19th. That's what he told his mother. Submit that what you tell your mother is more reliable than what you tell the people that are investigating you. Then he talked on August 20th to a number of the list is to his wife. And he tells her, this fool got all crazy and I beat the fuck out of this guy and they had to flight for life him. That's what he told his mom. And then on August 23rd, he talks to his brother. I got into a fight with this guy and they had to flight for life him. 4 family members. That's what he said. But you'll also get to see corroborative proof in the video that he was the one that was doing the dirty work. Because you'll see them both go in, and it's a very short time, but the person who leaves is Mr. Caldera. He leaves, and you'll see when he leaves, then the door is open. Mr. Pino is still in there, and you can see in the shadows what seems to be somebody going up and down, something going up and down, like somebody's stomping somebody, like somebody's throwing somebody down. That's Mr. Pino who did it. Mr. Caldera left. You're also going to see some of the scenes from the pod and some of the unusual behavior. You're going to hear from Felipe Manzanares, who was Mr. Little Bear's cellmate. And he told the police initially, I went in and then I called for help. But that isn't at all what happened. What happened is you'll see when he goes back in the cell a short time later, he's in there a little while, and he comes back out nonchalantly, as if nothing is wrong. And you'll see him spend the next 15 minutes talking to guys over on the cell, chatting or hanging out by the shower, going downstairs talking to folks. Either things weren't as bad as he said, or it makes no sense. He goes in and back in and out a few times and brings some other folks with him. So there's other people as well who went into that cell at 516. Mr. Manzanares and an inmate named Ortiz went into that cell. At 520, Mr. Manzanares and an individual named Gutierrez went into that cell, and they went back in 2 more times. The staff wasn't called till almost 20 minutes later. The injuries here, and there's no doubt the injuries were serious, but it's important to look at the injuries in the context of Mr. Manzanares's pre-existing condition. He had epilepsy. We're not sure how he got that or how that first came about, but he was on a drug, Keppra, for epilepsy when this happened. And you'll learn and you'll hear from the pathologist and such that head injuries can be far more serious to somebody who has epilepsies, and he in fact had a seizure afterwards. The Mr. Little Bear didn't die until 18 days later, and it wasn't from the head injuries. It was from complications that resulted. When he was in the hospital, a couple of days later, he contracted a sepsis and staph infection. They had to treat that. He had eventually pulmonary edema, fluid on the lungs, and probably died from a shortage of oxygen to his brain. But all of the injuries that he in fact had were resolving. And you'll hear that from both of the coroner and the pathologist who resolved it. So there's no doubt these were serious injuries. But what didn't happen here is there was no weapon used, there was no stabbing, there was no strangulation, no indication that Mr. Pino wanted this person dead. Clearly, he wanted him injured. But they've charged here one crime, and that's first-degree murder after deliberation. And we're going to ask you to look through the facts to see if that corroborates. The final thing is there's tiny droplets of blood on Mr. Caldera's shoes, not huge splatters or anything else. And when you'll see in the cell, there was blood there, and there's indication there was blood. It easily could have come from stepping in it or just being nearby while Mr. Pino did his dirty deeds. This wasn't a good situation. Mr. Caldera shouldn't have been in there, but this was not premeditated first-degree murder, and we're going to ask you to return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Ms. Bischoff or Ms. Turner, the prosecution's first witness.
Your Honor, the people first call Andrew Pino.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to switch something up with the cameras. Here we do have family members of the named victim in this case observing remotely. So I need to switch up some cameras. So I am going to ask that you return to the jury room just for a few minutes. We'll have you back in here shortly. So if you do need to take a restroom break, take it quickly, okay? Thank you.
They'll bring him in and then bring you back out.
All right, the jury is out of the courtroom. And we can go ahead and let DOC do what they need to do as far as bringing Mr. Pino in. And then Caldera should be in the courtroom as well. Two originals, yes, we'll go between.
You did you allow us to do that? Bring it forward. I know both of them. So. That's all I was back for.
Your Honor, are you okay with a correctional officer being behind Mr. Pino while he testifies?
I don't have an issue with that. I think it's going to be, well, Mr. Kenny, any record you wanted to make
No
regarding that?
record, I leave it to DOC
Okay.
here.
All right.
We just didn't know if you wanted somebody back there or if you want him to go and we come back here and sit while he's on the stand.
I don't have an issue with that. I think probably that will just be better for safety reasons.
I just know both of them were sitting back there, so I just didn't know what you had. You want one of them stand?
And I can have,
Can
we just do this chair to the other side of those?
Yeah, we stand
next to them.
the cloth even.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll get one more chair over there. I don't think it's a surprise to the jury that he's testifying from the Department of Corrections custody, so.
It'll be obvious by the outfit.
Thank you, Brianna.
Ready one now? Stand right there and we stand in that front for security. There might be one up there, I think, at the Thursday. Or at the. Where am I going? There's a bottle of water up there.
And then if we could bring Mr. Caldera back out.
She ready for?
Yeah, she just said.
Right, are the parties ready to bring the jury back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Canny?
Yes.
All right. Officer, just so you're aware, you will be on there long, just so you're aware. Can't avoid that. I can't avoid that. Right, the jury is back in the courtroom. Everyone can be seated if you are not already seated. Mr. Pino, I'm going to have you raise your right hand as much as you can. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to provide this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You can be seated. Or, I'm sorry, your witness, Ms. Bischoff, I apologize.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Andrew Pino,
Can you spell your last name?
Pino.
And are you an inmate currently at the Department of Corrections?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of sentence are you serving?
35 years.
And is that for second-degree murder
Yes, ma'am.
of Adrian Little Bear?
Yes.
Were you originally serving a 6-year sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that for?
Battery.
And was that a second-degree assault,
Yes.
a Class 4 felony?
Yes.
And you got 6 years for that?
Yes.
Was that out of Weld County?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know why you're here today?
For a subpoena.
Do you know what this case is about?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what you believe it is to be about?
Just ask me some questions.
And do you believe that we're going to ask you questions about the homicide from August 8th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that day, what did you do?
On that day, I was just it was like a little bit after count time, 5 o'clock. And I kind of just woke up from a nap to my name being hard. And I just went down there and Caldera was at the door and asked me to come with him with no questions asked. And I was reeled into something that I didn't know was unexpected, you know, so.
And so you said you were taking a nap at first?
Yes.
And you said then Caldera yelled to you?
Well, it kind of just cleared in a few minutes, maybe after 5. I heard the door open and my name was being called a few times and I was just like, what's going on? So I jumped out of my bunk and went down there to see what's going on. And that's when he said, hey, come with me, no questions asked.
And when you say Caldera, are you referring to Alejandro Caldera?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you see him in this courtroom?
Yes.
Can you state where he is and say what he's wearing?
He's right across right here in a white shirt.
And if please let the record reflect that he's identified the defendant.
Subject to cross-examination, it will so reflect.
Then what did you do after Caldera yelled for you?
I went down to see what he wanted. Like I said, it was just kind of like just come with him, no questions asked. So I didn't expect. I should have thought twice. I should have asked questions to see what was going on, but I was still kind of disbobulated from the nap I was just woke up from, so I didn't expect it was going to turn out to be a homicide.
What did he tell you if you were asking questions?
Well, at first he just, like I mentioned, he said, come with me, no questions asked. And then I was just kind of in the daze. And then we went to another unit and then sat at a table and he asked me where I knew where Little Bear lived. And I said, no, I don't. And that was that.
Is that unit you went to, is that unit 2?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you housed at the Fremont Correctional Facility at that time?
Yes, I was in unit 2 also, but I was in C pod.
And in this situation, was that table you were sitting at, was that in B pod?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so were you supposed to be in B pod at that time?
No.
How did you get in there?
I guess the CO had propped the door and the door was already propped and we just walked in there.
And is that where you followed Caldera to?
Yes, ma'am.
Before you left your pod, did you know where you were going?
Nope.
All right, so then you were sitting at the table with, it sounds like Mr. Caldera. Was there anyone else there with you?
There was a couple people, but I can't remember their names.
Do you recall someone by the name Gutierrez there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did you have any conversations with Mr. Gutierrez?
No, not at the time.
Who was doing most of the talking while you were sitting at the table?
Caldera.
What was he saying?
Well, like I said, he asked me if I knew where he lived, and I said no, I didn't. And I guess that's when he asked Gutierrez, and Gutierrez told him where he was.
Could you hear that conversation?
No, not really, because they were talking, well, he was talking in his ear, so no, I didn't hear him talking.
What did you do after he talked to Gutierrez?
Well, as soon as he found out, he was like, come on. And Gutierrez thought he was talking to him. And he was already going up the stairs halfway. And he said, no, not you. He pointed at me, you come with me. So I was like, well, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I was kind of hesitant walking up the stairs in slow motion. And so we went up there and that's when everything happened.
When you were walking up the stairs, did you know did you know what you were going up there to do?
Absolutely not.
Did you know who Adrian Little Bear was?
Never met him.
Did you know that there would be a person in that cell even?
No.
Did you know if 2 people would be in the cell?
No.
Did he tell you what you were going to do before you went into that cell?
Just like I mentioned earlier, he said, come with him, no questions asked. So I didn't know what to expect.
Did you follow Mr. Caldera then into the cell?
Yes.
Was that Little Bear cell?
Yes.
And that was at cell 8?
I believe so. And cell, yeah.
I guess how far away from the stairs was that cell?
Maybe about good 15, 20 steps, maybe.
What happened after you followed Caldera into that cell?
Well, nightmare, to be honest with you. That's when he went in there, Little Bear unexpected, and this when this guy right here pulled him off the bed and he went head first, hit the box. Boom, and then this guy just started stomping him out, and I was just like in daze. I was just like, whoa, what? I didn't expect that to happen.
So where was, when you first got in that cell, where was Mr. Little Bear?
I was sitting on his bed.
And was he on the top bunk or the bottom bunk?
Oh,
Okay. And did he seem like he expected you guys to be there? Is that a yes or a no?
no,
Did he say anything to you?
no,
Did anyone say anything when you got in the cell?
no.
How quickly then did Mr. Caldera pull Mr. Little Bear off that bunk?
Was it probably like a half second, probably?
And where did Mr. Little Bear land when Mr. Caldera did that?
Well, he went head first on the black ball, hit his head, and he kind of like rolled and ended up under the desk, kind of like catty corner. His head kind of like facing towards the toilet,
Where were you standing when this was happening?
by the toilet, kind of by the front door, by the cell door, I mean.
And was Mr. Little Bear fighting back at this time?
No,
What was he doing?
he was trying to cover up at the time, but then again, I guess he just lost conscious from all the kicking.
And how many times did Mr. Caldera kick Mr. Little Bear?
Maybe good 15, 20 times, maybe,
Where was he kicking Mr. Little Bear?
on the head.
And do you remember if he was using his right leg or his left leg?
I think it was right, to be honest with you.
At any point during this time when you were in there, did you say anything?
No,
Did Little Bear say anything?
No.
Did Mr. Caldera say anything?
no, he was just kind of like he was very upset for some odd reason. I don't know, but I didn't hear him say anything.
How did you guys end up leaving Little Bear?
He was just laying there.
Was he able to talk?
No.
Were his eyes open?
Not that I recall.
Did you stay in the cell then, or what happened after the 20 kicks?
Well, I have left, went back down. And this guy went back up, and then I was just like, what the heck? And then I had dropped my ID in the cell, and I went back up there, and I was looking for it, then I found it, put it back in my pocket, then I walked back down.
Was Mr. Little Bear moving at that point?
I could hear him making noises like he was breathing, yes,
Was he still on the ground?
yes,
Was he in the same position as you had left him the first time?
yes.
Did you try talking to him?
I asked him if he was all right, and he made a little noise, so I was like, I took it he was fine, so I went back down.
Was he bleeding?
Not that I could see.
At any point when you were in there, was anyone else there other than you and Caldera?
No,
Did you try to stop Caldera?
no,
Did you help Caldera?
no.
I guess, where did you go then after you went back into Little Bear's cell the second time?
After that, after I found my ID laying under the bed, I went back downstairs, and as soon as the door got opened, I just pretty much got down in front of the unit outside. Kind of like, wow, what just happened, you know?
Did you and Caldera have any conversation?
He pretty much just speed walked off, went somewhere.
Then at that point, did you have any contact with corrections officers?
Well, went to chow after they called chow, and then the next thing you know, after I was almost done eating my chow, they called big lockdown. So we had no choice but to go back to the unit. And I just kind of asked the CO what was going on. He said, no, just go back to your unit, lock down. That was all.
What, did they end up coming to get you?
Well, they were going around doing body checks, you know, like looking at knuckles for any kind of marks or lifting up your shirt for body checks. And my Sally had like a big red mark on his back, so they had probable cause for some odd reason, and they took us both to the hole. And I guess from the video footage, they identified that I was one of them, so they put me in the hole.
When they identified that you were one of what?
One of, The persons that went up into that was our video, that went to the cell,
And that's Little Bear cell?
just a little bit cell.
So at that point, were you separated from other inmates?
Can you repeat the question?
When they took you for those body checks, did they separate you? Were you by yourself?
Well, yeah, they took us to the hold, and put us in separate rooms.
Did they look at your body for any injuries?
Yes,
Did you have any injuries? Were you photographed?
yes.
Did you end up talking with any investigators that day?
I think his name was Mark, I think.
Does Mark Myers?
Yes,
Was there another investigator there, Lusk?
I think so. There was two of them, yes.
And did you end up talking to them?
I had mentioned what had happened, like I was kind of like in shock, like I didn't want this to fall down upon me for something I didn't do, but then again, it turned around and bit me in the tailbone, But yes,
Did you tell them how long you had known Caldera?
I barely just met the guy when I was in Fremont for just not even a couple months.
So you remember telling him you knew him for a couple months?
Yeah, because they asked me, how long have I known him?
Do you remember telling him that you stood back while Caldera was assaulting Little Bear?
Yes,
That you stood by the door
yes,
and that Little Bear fell out of the top bunk?
yes.
Did you tell him that he had slipped off the ladder?
No,
Did you tell him you tried to get help?
yes, I did.
How did you try to get help?
Well, the button on the way out of the door to go outside, I have mentioned that somebody was in distress upstairs. I don't know if they were having a seizure or if they were having a panic attack or something, but I just said that the guy needed help.
Did you talk to Felipe Manzanares?
I don't know who that is.
Do you remember asking Mark Myers if Little Bear was dying?
I asked him if he's all right, but I don't recall asking him if he was dying.
Do you remember asking what type of evidence they had on him?
No, I don't recall.
Do you remember saying you watched a brutal ass limping?
Yes,
Do you remember telling him that Caldera said no questions asked?
yes.
After that conversation, did you get moved to another correctional facility?
Yes.
What facility?
To Centennial MCC.
And is that still here in Fremont County?
Yes, this is a Canyon Complex, yes.
When you were there, did you end up asking,
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Bishop.
when you were at the Centennial Correctional Facility, do you remember asking to talk with an investigator again on September 5th of 2023?
I believe, yeah, I remember asking to talk, but I don't remember the date.
Does September 5th sound
Maybe,
about right?
pretty close, yeah.
Okay. Did you end up meeting with Mark Myers and Lusk again?
Again, yeah, I think that was at CSP. Yeah,
Okay. Do you remember telling him that at that point you had been standing by, but you had nothing to do with it?
yeah. I didn't even know what was going on, what the beef was all about over in first place, so.
Do you remember telling him that Caldera pulled the dude off the bed and started to stomp the fuck out of him? Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell him that at any point that Caldera had kicked him anywhere else but the head?
No, that's all I had witnessed was just stomping on the head,
How did he do that? How was the stomping?
just with his foot standing up with Grayson's
Was he standing?
That's okay, sorry, folks. Go ahead.
crushing the can type of stomp,
Sorry, what did you say?
like crushing the can kind of stomp.
Okay, so it's from above.
Mhm.
Do you remember asking then again after that interview on October 18th of 2023 to talk to the investigators for a third time?
I know, I don't recall the third time, but the second time I do.
Okay, so you don't recall meeting with them on October 18th?
I know I met with Intel for the very first time the night of the incident. And then I think the second time you said September 5th, I think you said?
And then, so you don't remember speaking with them then the third
I
time?
don't recall the third time.
You don't remember telling Investigator Myers that Caldera approached you and said he would violate you if you didn't?
Oh, yeah. Now I recall, yes.
You recall telling him that Caldera said he'd violate you?
Yeah. It
What
was,
is-
you know, it was, well, I should have said that in the beginning because that was part of what had happened too after what was mentioned in the beginning. If no questions asked, come with me.
But the third interview is the first time you mentioned violating, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Violating is like if you don't do what you're told, then I'm pretty much gonna get either boots kicked, like 3 people on one person where you get stomped out, or if they're not playing around, this is where you get poked with a knife or violation. It could be a couple different things, you know? You can either get killed, stabbed to death, or you can pretty much get stomped out, you know? So you
And-
learn your lesson.
Were you worried about that?
Yes.
Do you remember telling him in that third interview that Caldera asked you to stand watch?
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
Do you also remember a few of the phone calls you made after the assault?
Yeah, that was kind of like not what I meant by what I said. I was just trying to explain, but the way that me and my family have a relationship is like how we talk. Like my auntie, she's crazy. She's 70 years old, and you guys probably wouldn't understand, but I do. Of how we talk to each other, you know? Like she's like a mom / great auntie. She's my grandmother's sister, so
Is her name Estela Lopez?
yes.
And do you remember calling her on August 18th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember telling her that you were in the hole again
Yes.
and that they flight for life this dude I fought?
Yeah.
Do you remember her asking you what did you do, kill him?
Yeah, that's where the words kind of got mixed up between what I meant to say. Yes,
Did you answer yeah?
yes,
Do you remember talking to her about your anger and your temper?
yes,
Do you remember her asking if you hurt him bad?
mhm,
Is that a yes?
yes,
Did you say yeah?
yes,
Do you remember her saying that it's only going to get worse?
yes,
And you stated we fucked him up pretty bad?
Yeah.
Did you also have a conversation with your mom, Vicky Pino, on August 19th, the next day?
yes.
Do you remember telling her you're in lockdown again?
Yeah, her. So my mom and my auntie, that's my mom's auntie. So they're pretty much. My auntie's just a little older than her, and the way they talk are pretty much like the same. So it kind of, yeah, I remember talking to her.
Do you remember telling her you got in a fight at your old facility?
Yes,
Do you remember telling her that you beat this dude so bad that they had to fight for life him out of prison?
yes,
Do you remember her telling you that you were going to kill someone if you didn't quit?
yeah.
Do you remember telling her that I almost killed him?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember then talking, is your wife Emily Miller?
Yeah.
Do you remember talking to her the next day on August 20th of 2023?
I believe so.
Do you remember telling her that this fool got all crazy and I beat the fuck out of this guy and they had to fight for life this guy out of prison?
I don't recall that comment.
Do you remember then talking, do you have a brother named Michael Pino?
Yeah.
And did you talk to him on August 23rd of 2023?
That's kind of a while back. I don't recall. Exactly. I talk to him all the time, but he's dead now. But I don't remember talking to him exactly on that date. You know.
But do you believe that you had a phone call with him after the assault?
There's a possibility.
Do you remember telling him that you're in the hole again because you got in a fight with this guy and they had to fight for life him?
Little possibility.
Do you remember saying that they had to fight for life him because he's brain dead?
I think maybe.
Do you remember him asking you if you fucked him up pretty bad?
Sounds like they all related. The same question, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did you remember saying, yeah, I'm in the hole again, and if this guy dies, I'm gonna get street charges?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember him asking if they're gonna press charges on you?
I think so.
Do you remember saying they read me my rights, so I don't know if he dies, I can get charged with first-degree murder or assault if he lives?
Wait, yeah, I think so.
Did you eventually hear that Little Bear did end up dying?
I can believe so. 28 days later.
And you ended up getting charged with first-degree murder?
Yes.
And Mr. Caldera got charged with first-degree murder also?
Yes.
And in this case, you took a deal?
Yes.
So this isn't our first time meeting, is it?
No.
No. Did you end up signing plea agreements plea agreement in this case?
Yes.
Do you remember signing it in person?
Yep.
And was that on March 31st of 2026 this year?
Yes.
Would you recognize the plea agreement if you saw it?
Yeah.
And at this time, the people asked to approach with People's Exhibit 127 have previously showed defense.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember because he put he made me initial the bottoms. Yes. Yep.
And you said up there you remember that document.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you remember that one?
Because I still have it in
And-
my legal work.
Is your signature on that page or on that paper?
Yep.
Did your attorney make you sign every page?
He made me initial every page.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate copy of the plea agreement that you signed?
Yes.
And at this time, the people move to admit Exhibit 127.
Any objections?
No.
Exhibit 127 will be admitted.
Anywhere in that plea agreement, does it say that you were going to cooperate with us?
Yes.
You think it was a cooperation deal?
Well, I think it says in there that somewhere, I can't remember exactly. I think if you're willing, if you're needing me or something like that you could call upon me, like the subpoena, right?
You think that it says that somewhere in that paperwork?
Mm,
Do you
I would have to reread it again.
want to take a second? Is that okay, Your Honor?
That's fine.
Oh,
Sure.
shit. Flip it. Oh, just flip it. No.
So there's nothing in your plea agreement that says you were going to cooperate?
No.
How did you end up getting here today?
A subpoena.
Did we talk to you before that happened?
No.
Were you offered anything else from us other than what was in that plea agreement?
No.
No. Is the only time we met before the plea agreement happened?
Have we met before this?
Before, had we met since you signed the plea paperwork?
No.
And how long were you sentenced for in the homicide of Mr. Little Bear?
4 months, 3 months now, maybe?
Did you end up taking 35 years on it?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I approach with what has been previously marked as People's Exhibit 28? It is sentencing order.
Yes, you can approach.
Mr. Pino, I'm not sure if you've seen that document before, but does it have your name on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it talking about this case, the homicide of Mr. Little Bear?
I just see, what it just says, murder 2, number 6.
And is that what you pled guilty to?
Yes, ma'am.
And does that look like a document you would have got from the court?
I'm not too familiar with Colorado, but I see the restitution of $40, yeah, so that's what's popping up on my restitution now, so, yeah.
And does the top of that document say sentence order?
Yes.
And does it have a judge's signature on the bottom?
Yep.
And was that Judge Swan?
Judge. Say it again?
Was that Judge Swan?
Judge Swan? It looks like a different signature on the bottom.
Is this, the stamp, is that from a clerk?
Yeah.
Okay. But is this, your name's on it and it looks like it's about the case you are serving?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the people move to admit Exhibit 128. It's a certified sentencing order.
No objection.
That was 128.
Yes. Your Honor.
Okay. I heard 28 earlier. Exhibit 128 will be admitted.
Where are you housed now?
I'm in Centennial.
Since this case, where were you housed?
I was in Sterling,
And what kind of unit?
PC,
What does that mean?
protected custody.
Was that since the allegations of this case?
Yes.
I don't have any further questions at this time, Your Honor.
While I know I've sent you back for a restroom break, everyone in this courtroom has not received one yet, so that is going to be our mid-morning break today, okay? So we are going to take a recess. I'll have you escorted back to the jury room. I'm hoping to be back here in the courtroom by 10:05, okay? And just as a reminder that you aren't to discuss this case or any evidence you've heard so far or do any research. Thank you, folks.
It might not.
Everyone can be seated. Is there anything that the court needs to address before we take a recess?
Mr. Pino was mouthing to me. I don't know if he was asking to the bathroom, but I just wanted the court to be aware.
Oh, no, I was just
Mr.
kind
Pino,
of,
you need to speak only with the officers, okay?
okay,
Just not appropriate while we're in the middle of trial, all right?
sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, that's okay. Anything else, Mr. Canny?
No, thanks, Judge.
All right, then I'll just ask that the parties be back here. Aim for 10 o'clock. I understand if it might take a little bit more time, but I know I need a break. So I'll see the parties at 10 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
And then you have a 2016 conviction out of the U.S. District Court in Wyoming for felon in a possession of a firearm.
Yes.
So you have 4 felony convictions.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you told, when you testified, you said you went back up the second time to get your ID?
Because I noticed it was gone in my pocket.
So the second time you're claiming you went back in the cell to get your ID?
I did, I found it, yeah.
Okay, and then you came back down
Yeah.
that second time. Now, in terms of the first time you were up there, you and Mr. Caldera went in the cell. He went in and you went in pretty much at the same time.
Just with seconds, yeah, but
Okay.
kind of.
But Mr. Caldera left and you were still in the cell for an additional 20 seconds. Do you recall that?
He went down and then I don't recall on that one.
Obviously, the videotape of the cell and the pod would be the best evidence of that, you'd agree?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't recall that you were in there for an extra 20 seconds?
Yeah, like the only time I was in there for any extra time was looking for my ID.
Okay, but the first time you were up there wasn't when you were looking for your ID?
I was
You didn't-
standing right there keeping watch, yes.
You were keeping watch, but he left 20, you don't believe he left 20 seconds before you?
I don't recall.
In terms of some of these phone calls, I want to ask you about, your aunt is Estela Lopez?
Yes,
Have you known her your whole life?
yes,
Okay, so she's your grandma's sister?
yeah. She's
And-
practically like a mom to me.
Okay, and so you were incredibly close?
Yes,
You loved her?
I do love her.
Okay, was she involved in helping raise you?
Yes.
And how far did she live from you when you were growing up?
Like I said, she's like mom to me. So like I didn't actually have my real actual mom in my life. So my grandmother / great aunt was like figures to me, like mother and father
Okay, and
all the time.
she was on your phone list,
Yep,
and you would call her frequently when you were in prison?
yep,
Do you still call her frequently?
yep.
How often do you call her?
Just talked to her yesterday.
Okay, and you know she cares about you?
Yeah,
You know she worries about you?
yes,
Okay. She's somebody you respect?
yes,
And when you called her on August 18th, that was 10 days after this incident, right?
Mhm.
And you don't dispute from the phone logs that you called her on August 18th,
I think, yeah.
on the
that's what you're saying.
2023? Okay. And you don't dispute saying that they life flighted this dude that I fought. You use those words.
I can't recall exactly. That's exactly what I said, but
Okay. And then she asked you, what, did you kill him? And you said, yeah. Correct? That's correct?
yes, that's why I pled to second-degree murder.
Okay. And then she asked you, what did you do? Hurt him bad? And you said, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And the only time you used the term we is you said we fucked him up pretty bad in that call. Okay. And then next day, on August 19th.
Mr. Kenny, I want to make sure we're getting those audible answers
Yeah,
from the witness.
was that correct?
yes,
Okay. The next day, on August 19th, you called your mother, Vicky Pino.
mm-hmm,
Okay, and you told her you're on lockdown again.
yep,
Okay. And you said, I got into a fight at my own old facility. Right?
yes,
Okay. And then you told your mom, I beat this dude up so bad that they had to flight for life him out of the prison.
yeah,
Okay. And then you called your wife day after that on August 20th. Your wife's Emily Miller.
yes.
How long have you guys been married?
Going on 7 years now.
Okay. And when you were, how often would you call your wife?
Every day.
Okay. So
When I got a chance to get the phone in the hole,
Okay.
I got it. That's the only time.
back at this time, you had a chance and so you called her.
Oh, well, it was very limited at this time to use the phone in the hole. So
Okay. And you told her, this fool got all crazy and I beat the fuck out of this guy and they had to flight for life this guy out of the prison.
I don't recall saying anything to her. I was just trying to give her details on anything, but I don't recall saying anything of that to her.
If you were to listen to your tape, would that refresh your recollection there?
Well, if that's what you're saying, then I believe you.
You're not disputing that's what's on the tape
No.
of that, okay. And again, actually 4 days later, or on August 23rd, you called your brother Michael?
Yes.
How close are you guys?
Pretty close.
Okay, grew up together?
Yeah.
What's the age difference?
Year.
Okay, so, and you told Michael you were in the hole because I got into a fight with a guy and they had to fight for life him because he's brain dead. Remember saying that?
Like I said, it's been 3 years, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And he asked, did you fuck him up that bad? And you said, yeah, I'm in the hole, and if this guy dies, I'm going to get street charges.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are what you told your family. Your aunt, who's almost like a mom to you, right?
Mhm.
Your mom, right?
Yes.
Your wife
Uh-huh.
and your brother, who you were close to.
Yeah.
You never made any of those statements to the investigators in this case. You didn't
Well-
tell Mr. Myers that.
Not till they brought it up to me.
Okay. And they in fact brought it up to you, then they'd listened to those calls and that's what you'd said.
Yeah.
You realized in fact that it was the investigators that had the power to choose whether you would be charged, right?
No.
And whether they would seek charges against you.
Well, that's what got me was the phone calls.
Okay?
So-
And so the first time you talked to investigator Myers and Lusk was on August 8th, that night. It was about, I think, 8 o'clock.
8/8/23.
8/8/23. Okay, and then the next time was on September 5th of 23 when you were at Centennial. And actually, that was at your request. You asked that they come see you.
Yeah.
One of the things you wanted to do is tell them what had happened and give them more info, right?
Yeah.
And you were starting to hope you could cooperate and get some sort of deal out of this. And then again, on October 18th of 2023, you were still at Centennial and you again requested they come see you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to say yes, no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Hold on real quick, Mr. Canny. Mr. Pino, everything's being recorded. That's why we need audible answers because the recording can't determine if someone's nodding their
Yes.
head or shaking their head, okay?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Canny.
thank you. And that was again at your request.
Yes.
You were again hoping to get some sort of deal out of this.
Yes.
And then again, on April 23rd of 24, you met with another DA, David Little, and Mr. Myers at CSP. That was the one at CSP.
David Little. Yes. I
Okay, and you remember actually, Mr. Little gave you an immunity agreement that what you told him at that point wouldn't be used against you.
Yes.
Okay. And again, you were trying to get a deal out of that.
Yes.
And then you actually met with these DAs
Yes.
last December.
Yes.
Same thing, trying to get,
Yes.
okay. And the people over whom had power to seek charges against you or cut a deal with you, you have told them what you told us today, that basically you were just standing by and Mr. Caldera was the one who did everything.
Well, it was just kind of like the phone calls was kind of like off guard. Like I said, the way that we have a relationship, the way that they talk, and it was just like my mind was going a million miles an hour, and it just kind of caught me off guard by the questions that they were asking me, and I shouldn't have said me, you know what I mean? Because it makes it all look like it's falling upon me.
Yeah, well, it does, because you told 4 different beloved family members that in fact you fought with this dude. You told each of the 4 that you fought with this dude
Understand.
on 4 different days, right?
Yes,
And you told each of them that you fucked the guy up pretty good.
I understand.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Any redirect from the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor. In your phone call with your aunt Estella, did you tell her we fucked him up pretty bad?
Yes,
And when you're referring to we, is that you and Mr. Caldera?
yes, ma'am.
Did you take responsibility for what you did in this case?
I did,
You took 35 years in the Department of Corrections.
yes.
So you admitted to your part in Mr. Little Bear's death.
Well, I would like to elaborate on that. The only reason why is because of the phone calls, you know, like there's no way around that. So I had to just pull my part and take the deal instead of taking it to trial.
And there was no way around you being in the cell.
I wish I wasn't there, to be honest with you.
There's no way around Caldera being in the cell.
No,
There was no way around that you followed him up those stairs.
no,
You were there when Little Bear was pulled from his bunk.
yes,
Were you there when Little Bear was stomped?
yes,
You were there until he was unconscious.
yes,
In this case, you didn't get a cooperation deal, did you?
no.
Did you get a better deal for saying Caldera was there?
No.
At any point, have you ever told anybody that you weren't involved?
Just intel.
But you've told everyone that you were there.
Yeah,
Your statement's been the same, that you were there and Caldera was there.
yes.
I don't have any further questions, Jen.
Folks, I'm sorry about this, but this is, oh, that's right. Thank you. That's what I asked you guys to do. I appreciate it. If I can have the parties approach. All right, Mr. Pino,
Yes.
how did your ID fall out in the cell?
Well, my I didn't have my green shirt on. I had it in my back pocket, and I believe you guys still have the greens in the evidence. If you notice that there's like the seams are broken in the back where something can easily just fall out. Like it was like a spur of the moment type of thing where I always got a thing where I get up out of bed or whatever, no matter where I'm doing or what, I grab my ID out the shelf and always put it in my pocket not to remember that I forgot that right side of my pant pocket, green pants had a hole. So that's the only way I could figure how it fell out, you know? Because there's no me jumping around or moving around for it to just accidentally pop out or any of that. So that's how my ID got displaced.
Where was the ID on your person before noticing it was missing?
Yes. It was in my pocket. I recall putting it in there as soon as I left the cell to respond to Mr. Caldero's call of distress, calling my name out.
Where exactly in the cell did you find your ID?
I'm also older than Google.
Maybe just a little bit under the bottom bunk, like on the floor.
How do you think the ID ended up on the floor of the cell if you were just standing guard?
Good question.
Were you aware that the phone calls were being recorded?
Like I said, at the time, my mind was so everywhere and I wasn't really paying attention at the time. I just wanted to actually talk to somebody, hear my family's voice. And because I was in the hole and it's minimum time to where you can use the phone and all that stress that was weighing me down, I just wanted to hear the family's voice, you know. And at the time when I did get to hear their voice and when they did answer, I wasn't thinking about it at the time. Or I should have been more on point and watched my P's and Q's of what I've said and what I had said.
Can this witness step down at this time?
Can I just briefly ask some follow-up based on those questions, Your Honor?
I'll allow it and I'll allow cross-examination as well.
Mr. Pino, just asking generally about inmate IDs. What kind of ID are you talking about?
The inmate ID, plastic ID. card.
Who gives you those IDs?
Just, be, COD,
Okay. And what do you use them for?
commissary, Medline, child line, everything in general, pretty much being locked up.
Is it kind of your pass around the facility? You have to have it with you?
Can't get pretty much anything done without it.
Okay.
Like rec equipment, you gotta use your ID to check it out. Movie, or the ID. It's pretty much like board games, the iron. Pretty much-
And with these phone calls, anytime you make a phone call from the Department of Corrections, is there a recording in the beginning?
Yeah,
Does it tell you that the calls are being recorded?
yes.
Okay, and is that every time you make a call?
Well, no, it got me, yeah, to where, but watch what I say on the phone every time I make a phone call now, so,
But even when you made those phone calls to your family members about this case,
yes.
did it have that recording? It
Well,
sounds
then
like
it-
you might have not heard it or listened,
Then it
but
was GTL, it was like, cause you get one free call, I think it was when GTL was in effect before Securus came. I don't know what the difference was, but like I said, my mind was just everywhere at the time. So like if I was focused, real focused, I probably wouldn't have slipped up like that and said what I had said.
all right, I don't have any further questions, Mr. Pino.
Any cross-examination based on that? All right. Folks, I am going to have you step out of the courtroom. Again, that's just our safety protocols under Department of Corrections guidance at this point in time. It's just easier for our officers. So I'll have you step out for just about 5 minutes and we'll bring you back in, okay? Thank you. Everyone can be seated and officers feel free to move Mr. Pino. Mr. Canny, I think any prosecution witness is potentially still subject to recall by the defense. I think there's case law that supports that. Was the defense seeking to recall Mr. Pino?
I do not anticipate recalling Mr.
That way,
Pino.
transports no. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, officers. You can transport Mr. Pino back then, or however you're going to do your operations, but he's free to go at this point.
Judge, here are these papers.
Those come to me.
Oh, yeah, let me get it. I'm hoping I was a help.
But, I didn't know if you were planning on bringing them up yet.
You guys have a good rest of your day.
You too, Mr. Pino. Mr. Caldera back in. We'll let them know we're ready for the jury.
We just have our next witness coming up from the office,
Oh, okay, okay,
and then we'll call Manzanares after.
okay. If you want to bring that next witness up, then that's fine.
Yeah, I think he's in the elevator.
Okay.
So the student's been there, the veterinary. It's like 20,
127 and 120. 127 is the hearing. And then the surveillance.
I think so.
Just check.
But that stuff, but nothing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Everybody can be seated. Ms. Bischoff, the people's next witness.
Yes, Your Honor, the people call Lieutenant Joshua Lesser.
Mr. Lesser, I'll have you come up to, or Lieutenant Lesser, I'll have you come up to the witness stand here. Just this way, yes. I'll have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to provide this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your witness, Ms. Bischoff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Yep, my name is Joshua Lesser, Lessar.
How are you employed?
I am a intelligence officer. I'm lieutenant with the Colorado Department of Corrections.
How long have you been working with the Department of Corrections?
19 years and 10 months.
Precise. And how long have you been working in Intel?
Over 7 years now.
Okay, how did you start your career with the Department of Corrections?
As a CO1, Correctional Officer 1.
Okay, and what does that mean generally?
So basically, I started at San Carlos Correctional Facility. I was a security officer, conduct formal counts, rounds, work control centers. At that time, place inmates in ambulatory restraints, 4-point bed, different stuff.
And were you doing that, I guess, for the 12 years and 10 months that you were prior to your Intel career?
Well, no, so I was an officer for right under 4 years, and then I promoted to sergeant at 4 Mile Correctional Facility, and I was a swing shift security sergeant. And I was a move sergeant and then dealt with all security issues.
What is a move sergeant?
I conducted racial balance, security threat group balance. Basically, I would do cell-to-cell moves, move inmates in together. That seemed to be, most compatible.
Okay. And so when did you end up going over to Intel?
Well, I did back up Intel at 4 Mile for a couple of years, but actual promotion was May 1st of 19.
Okay. And what is Intel?
So as an intelligence officer, I monitor security threat group activity and document accordingly, report directly to the associate warden and the warden, providing them with information of any potential threats, review any fights or, any threats to staff. We're just constantly on the go and monitoring, phone calls, video footage. We'll work hand in hand with the Office of Inspector General, the criminal investigators, basically to support them with whatever they need.
And what facility are you assigned to?
Fremont Correctional Facility. Excuse me.
And is that here in Canyon City?
Yes,
Is that off of Highway 50 and Evans Boulevard?
yes,
And then the county of Fremont
yes,
in the state of Colorado?
yes.
Okay, and how long have you been at Fremont Correctional?
Since May of 19.
Okay. Can you generally describe what facility is this? Is it a minimum, maximum?
So we do have close custody as well, so it's a multi custody level facility. We have close custody and medium custody inmates.
And what type of inmates are in living unit 2?
That's just general population for medium custody.
And were you asked at any point to help in an investigation regarding an assault that occurred on August 8th of 2023?
Yes.
And how do you get brought in on fights that happen while you're there?
Well, the management team, especially the warden, associate warden, they expect us to gather the information to, identify the involved parties so that we can, maintain the safety and security of the facility.
How quickly after the assault occurred did you get involved?
Immediately.
Were you on site at the facility when this happened?
I was.
And what was your specific role that day?
It was to review the video footage and identify any potential involved parties.
And how do you identify inmates generally?
Well, I'll utilize our offender portal or our EOMIS database that has a picture, and then reviewing the video footage and corresponding, lining them up. I also have maintained a pretty good rapport and identification of our offender population. I don't know every single inmate all the time without doing my due diligence, but without a doubt, I can identify, any potential suspect, if you will.
Were you able to identify potential suspects in this case?
Absolutely.
And how did you do that?
With video footage, I reviewed it and then I was able to correspond it to our image database.
And who did you identify as the two suspects in the assault on August 8th of 2023?
Pino and Caldera.
Okay. Alejandro Caldera?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you see him present in this courtroom?
I do.
And can you indicate where he is and describe what he's wearing?
Right now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, he's right here. He has a white shirt on with a black undershirt.
And you pointed ahead of you. Where is right here?
To the right of me, directly in front.
Please let the record reflect he's identified the defendant, Your Honor.
Subject to cross-examination, it'll so reflect.
And is Alejandro Caldera one of the suspects that you saw in the surveillance video?
Yes,
And you said the other was Pino?
that is correct.
Was it Andrew Pino?
Yes,
How did you identify him?
the exact same way. I was able to. I knew what they looked like. I kind of monitored different individuals, but I also, through our database, our image database.
How do you access the camera system at Fremont Correctional?
You have to put in I think at the time it was the NetView Observer system or the Bosch system. I can't recall. I know that we made some changes because there was a lot of, there was issues with having to relog in and server issues. I mean, it took me quite a while to be able to get the needed video footage, but you log into the system on the computer and you're able to download and go back and forth.
Why is that a memory for you, having troubles logging in this case?
Because the warden she's very persistent of wanting to know the information as soon as possible so that she could let her superiors know. And it kept logging out on me over and over and over again every time that I'd pause and I'd go a little bit forward and go a little bit back. So, I mean, it was a very tedious process.
Were you able to see the video in its entirety?
Absolutely.
And would you recognize that video if you saw it today?
Absolutely.
Did you review a copy on a thumb drive that our office had provided to you?
Yes,
And did you initial that thumb drive?
I did.
Your Honor, at this time, may the people approach with proposed Exhibit 125?
No objection.
Yes.
We don't object to the exhibit.
Wait till you move.
Yes,
And is this the copy of the thumb drive you
it is.
reviewed earlier? And that's a fair and accurate copy of the surveillance video that you reviewed for the warden in this case?
Yes,
Your Honor, at this time, the people move to admit Exhibit 125.
No objection.
Exhibit 125 will be admitted.
When you were watching this footage, what did you notice in it? What was going on?
I see Caldera and Pino, they come to the day hall table, they sit down, it looks like they're kind of talking about something. Then they go up to the second tier, they go into the victim's cell. They stay in there, not very long. And when they come out, they come back out and then they immediately try to leave the pod. Looks like they were having some difficulty leaving the pod. They come back, they go back up into the cell for a very short period of time and then come back down. The pod door was opened and they immediately left. I noticed that the cellmate, he went up in there and he looked extremely frantic. Everybody, the population, their physical look, they looked very like something had occurred, something major. You know what I mean? There was just their body language was, they looked very nervous.
During your 19-year career with the Department of Corrections, do you review a lot of aftermaths of assault of what inmate behavior looks like?
Yes,
Is that what you're
that's
using?
part of my job.
Okay. And so you noticed that specific behavior after Mr. Caldera and Pino left this pod?
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely tell. I mean, it's kind of like, when you're driving down the highway and the police pull somebody over or there's something going on, you get a lot of looky-loos, so to speak. Whenever there's an occurrence, whether it's a fight between inmates, an assault, anything like that, injury, something going on affecting, you get a lot of people, real looking around and wanting to see what's going on.
And you earlier had referred to the victim. Was that Adrian Littlebear in this case?
That is correct.
And were you able to identify him as well?
Yes,
And then you said his cellmate, was that Felipe Manzanares?
that is correct. That's Manzanares.
And were you able to identify him also?
Yes.
What did you guys end up doing then once you identified these people?
Well, they were removed from population pending further investigation. Due to the injuries and the potential for criminal behavior at the time, my investigation basically stops, and that's when the Office of Inspector General, they come in and they start their criminal investigation due to the account of the injuries that were sustained that were noted at the time.
And did you remove any other people that you haven't previously talked about?
Yes.
Who did you remove?
The cellmates, just to, pending further investigation as, if there was any potential involvement. We also removed Gutierrez from population. He lived in that pod, but he looked like he had involvement beforehand, but also looked very frantic and was with Manzanares throughout the video. He seemed frantic because of the injuries that were sustained.
And was this standard protocol for the Department of Corrections after a major assault?
Absolutely. Anytime that there's any threat to the safety and security of any inmate or potential, staff, and of course the public, we always err on the side of caution and remove the individuals from population pending a further investigation.
All right. And at this time, Your Honor, I'm going to ask to publish People's Exhibit 125.
You may do so. Just let me know when your computer is ready.
And Lieutenant Lesser, before I start this video, does the Department of Corrections surveillance camera videos, do they have sound?
No,
Okay, and that's,
yeah, there's no audio.
and for the record, Your Honor, this is a 34-minute or 35-minute video.
Let me have the parties approach really quickly. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yes, Your Honor. I am ready.
Dark screen, they're on, Miss Bishop. It's just whenever you're ready to. It's saying no input. Do we have that HDMI cable plugged all the way in?
Actually, I don't.
Are we still connected, Judge?
I'm sorry?
Are we still connected?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. All right, Your Honor, and I will start the video at 0 seconds. Did not touch anything. And then I will pause the video at 24 seconds. Lieutenant Lesser, can you describe in this video where you see anyone that you recognized?
Sitting at the day hall table with the white shirt with the sleeves on the right side, so right there, that's Mr. Caldera. Sitting across from him is Mr. Pino with the sleeveless shirt, and then back behind that was Gutierrez.
Thank you. And I will resume the video at 24 seconds.
And Manzanares, that's the cellmate that he's getting ready to enters.
And I'm going to pause it at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Lieutenant Lesser, can you
Yes, sir. I saved it right before it shut down completely. Yes, sir.
describe if you've seen any of that behavior you were referring to as like the looky-loo behavior yet?
Not really yet. I haven't.
Okay, can you let me know when to pause the video when you start to see that?
Yeah, no problem. So Manzanares came out. Looks like he's talking to some other individuals. Other people starting to look up and see what's kind of going on. You can start seeing them trying to see like what's going on. Everybody's kind of everybody kind of really paying attention to try to see what's going on. Manzanares appears to be pretty frantic of how to deal with what's he saw in the cell.
I'm going to pause here at 7:48. Do you see Manzanares in this screen?
Yeah, he's up at the top.
Okay, so he's kind of up to at the top of those stairs to the right.
Yeah.
Okay. Resume.
So he goes and gets that individual to come up and take a look.
All right, and then I'm going to pause the video again at 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Lieutenant Lesser, where Mr. Manzanares is standing right now, what is he standing near?
That's a shower right there.
Okay. And I think this may be a good time to break for lunch, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, just so you are aware, I have many dockets and some of them require certain timelines be met. And I do have one of those over the lunch hour today. So you are having a little bit longer of a lunch. I am going to ask that you return to us at 1 o'clock today. So it will be a little bit longer lunch. Hopefully that certainly means folks can go get food to make sure they are ready for a afternoon, I'm sure, full of testimony ultimately. I will advise you that in general, you are not to do any type of research about this case or cases or about this case or any case like it. that you aren't to speak with anyone about this case either, whether it's amongst yourselves or anyone else. With that, we'll do the same proceeding as we did this morning for, when you first arrived here this morning, meet at that door downstairs, and our bailiffs will come to meet you and they'll escort you right now. Please make sure to leave your notebooks in the jury room. They'll be there for you when you return from lunch. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys, we made it to the end for today. They're going to go to lunch. Gosh, do we even need to see any more? We can go right to sentencing. I don't even know why we're here. Why is there a jury trial for this? This is a perfect time for them to take a plea, because a jury trial for this is a waste of time. He clearly, obviously, 1000% did it. Let's see, what is today? Trying to think. Today is Monday. There will be a stream on Tuesday. But going forward, and I'll put this in a post, going forward just for a bit, no streams on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I work doubles too, Saturday. So we'll have streams Sunday night, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Just for a bit. I told them I can't work as many hours this week. I work doubles all week. So streams again will be Sunday night, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. It won't be long, guys. It won't. It won't. But we'll see. Maybe it'll just be a week. We'll see. I'm working. I'm trying to fix it. But we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tuesday morning. We'll have a stream. It'll be fun. We'll see what happens with this guy. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Well, I thought I'd write a happy song. I found a chat room where I belong. You don't know how much it means to me. With such a groove, I'm less lonely. Oh, Kathy's the creator. She's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her smile shines bright. She's got that grace. Come join the fun. It's a welcome and play. I can count on distraction from my pain, 'cause this creator takes you there and back again. Kathy is the heart here, always in stride. Her work is hard, but her joy she can't hide. Oh, Kathy's the creator. She's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her style is classy. She's always top shelf. Don't take my word. Come and see for yourself. Her cases are new with a twist or two. I really like them. I believe you will too. A little lifeline passed along in rhyme. Why don't you join us? It's a guaranteed good time. Oh, Kathy's the creator. She's leading the way. At Court Vibes, welcome